Hey everyone, brand new episode of the David Seaman Hour. This is going to be a shorter than usual one because it's just me, no guest. I wanted to sound off on some stuff, and it's been a while since I've done one of these kind of monologue episodes, but either later tonight or tomorrow, Abby Martin, RT America anchor and host of Breaking the Set, she will be back on the show. So look out for that one. And you can download our last interview. Our last discussion is on the iTunes page. Thank you to all you guys who've been posting good reviews of the show on iTunes and spreading the word. And thank you as well to everybody who has contributed money to my congressional campaign over the past couple days. It is really making a difference. And if we can amass a big enough war chest, it's going to send a clear message to more establishment organizations that we're a campaign that needs to be taken seriously and that we do plan to unseat Debbie. But you can go over to davidseamanforcongress.com and click on the donate tab at the top if you want to give a little bit of money. It doesn't have to be a lot. We've been getting a lot of $100 donations, a lot of $200 donations, some $25 donations, and some people have signed up for the monthly program where it just deducts $5 or $10 a month from your credit card or whatever amount you designate, and that helps as well. We've also gotten several $500 donations and just a range of donation amounts in between because we let people type in how much they want to contribute. But let's jump right into stuff. It's funny, there are 2 internships that are being filled this week for the campaign here at David Seaman for Congress, and we've been getting a lot of interesting people applying. And one person, or actually a couple people, I don't want to just single out one person, they were really excited about interning at first, and then they got cold feet and decided that the internship is not right for them, and they, explained that they're worried about aligning themselves with a politician who supports some of the stuff I support, freedom of the press and scaling back our unconstitutional police state and not wasting taxpayer money on a drone strike program that has no judicial review and that is beyond any doubt killing innocent kids overseas. And we're spending billions of dollars on warrantless wiretapping of American citizens for no apparent reason. We're doing all these things. I'm against those things. And some people who were initially very excited about working on a congressional campaign and interning for us got cold feet. And in a way, that's great. It's a self-screening process, right? If you're somebody who's kind of spineless and you don't want to be associated with freedom of the press or with a candidate who protects constitutional rights, then I don't want you as an intern in the first place. And these people, they've expressed to me that the reason why they don't want to be associated with the campaign is they're worried about the job market and how they'll be perceived. And it's like, all right, I get it, but you're a pussy. That's what it comes down to. I respect you for what you are, but you're a pussy if that's how you feel. If you're willing to sacrifice all of your values just so you can get a job out of college, working in a fucking office somewhere for the rest of your life, if that's really what you want, and you want that, $44,000 a year and that 2 weeks paid vacation and the shitty 401k that's going to get wiped out in the next recession anyway, if that's what you want, go for it. And I don't want you as an intern at our organization because we are making a difference. And we don't want 20-year-old squares, You have the rest of your life to sell out. Why are you selling out while you're still in school? That makes no sense. But moving on from that, I want to read some interesting conversation that went down on Twitter. Somebody asked me, about my beliefs on the age of the Earth. If you were to be asked how old the Earth is, how would you respond? I laugh at how all the mainstream politicians answer. It's from Jay Donaldson on Twitter. And let's see how I answered. I said, now let me be clear. The Earth is 35 years old, and Jesus ate velociraptor eggs. Just so you guys know my stance on that issue. Clearly, the Earth is only a few decades old, and clearly Jesus coexisted with dinosaurs. And clearly the entire fossil record is just an elaborate ploy that Satan has created in order to test your faith. No, I'm joking, obviously. There's an abundance of scientific evidence. We know how old the fucking Earth is. It's about 4.5 billion years old. We know how old the universe is. you don't believe in science, okay, but then I can't have a rational discussion with you, you know? There is an overwhelming amount of evidence that we do know exactly how old the Earth is. We do know that there were several biological eras before ours. It wasn't just, nothing and then humans overnight emerge. That's not what happened. So if you don't believe in science, then I don't know how to relate to you, you know? I mean, it's one thing to have personal faith, and it's another to deny the tremendous amount of scientific evidence in support of the fact that the Earth is not 6,000 years old. And then I also tweeted something out in response to those couple of interns who got the cold feet, or potential interns, applicants. Let's see here. What did I say? It was a little harsh, but I feel like always speaking from the heart, and when I stop doing that, then I'm just like everybody else, and I'm not worth supporting anyway, you know? I said, it's funny how some are afraid to defend freedom of the press for fear of not getting a job after college. Dudes, you don't want to work at a corporation that doesn't want real people there. Bunch of phony, spineless tools rarely produce consistent value. And that's really how I feel. Not only is that how I feel, but as a tech entrepreneur who is selling one of his companies this week, it might be early next week, but I think we're selling this week. I'm somebody who's been in the entrepreneur game for a while, and I don't want to deal with spineless people. You know, it's the people who have guts, the people who have vision, and the people who are not worried about what others think of them. These are the people who eventually pull ahead. You know, these are the Steve Jobs and the Martin Luther Kings, actually, of the world. You know, if you have guts and you have conviction, you can succeed in a number of areas, whether it be civil rights or politics or creating the next Apple, you know. And you don't have to create the next Apple. You can just be one of the millions of successful small business owners in this country. And in order to do that, at some point you had to throw away the conventional wisdom, and the conventional wisdom is work in an office until you fucking die. And you had to go out and do something that you believe in and attract others to your cause, get them to contribute money and invest, and create real value in your community and do something a little bit better than other companies had done it in the past. And there are a lot of people who have succeeded this way. But if you just want to go the cookie cutter path, I have nothing against you. But then don't pretend you're something you're not, right? Don't sign up for an internship and then get cold feet when you realize, oh shit, I might actually be working for somebody who believes in these things, you know? But other than that, let's see what else is going on. The Senate bill, you guys have probably heard about this, because I've been tweeting about it a lot. There's a Senate bill that originally was supposed to give Americans greater internet privacy, and then law enforcement agencies complained, and I guess the Senate doesn't have much of a spine either, because Senator Leahy turned around and kind of reversed the purpose of this bill and made it an anti-privacy law, which would allow more than 22 federal agencies to access your emails, your personal Facebook messages, anything you put up in the cloud as well, any photos or documents you put in cloud storage, basically anything you put online. These federal agencies could access and read and sift through without a warrant. So in other words, for no fucking reason at all. All they have to do is get a subpoena. And that's scary. You know, once you have laws like that on the books, it's only a matter of time until it becomes a crime to privately criticize the government or to privately criticize the Senate. It's totally un-American. You know, I know that people have been kind of distracted by Black Friday discounts and Honey Boo Boo, but this is scary stuff, and this is our taxpayer money being used to turn America into kind of an open-air prison where they can read your emails and read your text messages and read your Facebook messages and see what you're liking on Facebook and document all of this as if you're the enemy. Why are American citizens the enemy? And we're paying for all of this stuff. You know, all of the Predator drones that are now going to be flying over U.S. soil with totally creepy surveillance technology on board. They can see through walls. I don't know what the purpose of that is. Maybe the Department of Homeland Security needs to see if you're having sex often enough. It's a waste of money. It's creepy. And nobody seems to care. You know, that's what I don't get. Nobody seems to care. So if you're interested in the drone program that's going to be surveilling over U.S. soil, you you should check out the EFF, the Electronic Freedom Foundation or Electronic Frontier Foundation. I forget what it stands for. The EFF, and look up Trevor Timm, Timm. He has some good content on this as well over on Twitter. And finally, somebody asked me how I know that the drone program overseas is ineffective. How do I know that it's killing people who are innocent? Am I just making this shit up? No, I'm not just making this stuff up. I'm obviously not out there myself documenting this stuff. My understanding of the drone program is based on the recent NYU Stanford joint study. It was an exhaustive study. They went through the actual data. And unlike some random message board posting over at InfoWars or on Reddit, I actually trust what NYU and Stanford say. Those are two of the most respected universities in the United States. They're not going to put their name onto a study that is bullshit. So if you're interested in this drone program study, just go on Google and search for NYU Stanford drone study, and I'm sure you'll see a lot of good articles about it. When you dig a little bit deeper, and all you have to do really is Google that. You don't have to dig all that deep. Once you start reading about the drone program, you see that it is A, an extraordinary waste of taxpayer money, and B, killing innocent children and women and rescue workers, medics and stuff like this, with the double tap procedure where they come back after they've already blown something up and they blow it up again, which kills medics and kills rescue workers. And C, it's something that's going to come back to bite us in the ass at some point. It really is, because when you blow up somebody's family and they turn out to have nothing to do with terrorism and they're just innocent people trying to go about their business, the relatives of those family members now strongly dislike the United States. And before, maybe they had kind of a neutral opinion of us, but now they really don't like us because we blew up their whole family. So that's something to keep in mind, and we need to be very careful how we use programs like that. I think we should err on the side of caution instead of erring on the side of, if we have to kill 30 or 40 innocent people to get one legitimate terrorist, then that's acceptable. That's the current policy, is that that's acceptable. And I don't think that's acceptable. I don't think killing 30 or 40 people to eliminate one terrorist is a good option or an acceptable option, nor even a legal option. The whole legality of this program should be called into question because it doesn't make any legal sense. There's no judicial review. You end up on this secret kill list, so you end up on the wrong bureaucrat's kill list, and before you know it, a predator drone is headed to your house in Pakistan and just blows you away in the middle of the night, and there's nothing you can do about it, So thank you so much for listening, and again, I said this is going to be a short one because we're going to have Abby Martin on the show later on tonight or early tomorrow morning, and that should be good for sure. If you have any questions for her that you want me to ask her, things that you want us to discuss, just shoot me a tweet, D_Seaman, or look me up on Facebook, facebook.com/David Seaman for Congress. I don't check the Facebook page as often, but other people do for me. And, of course, if you tweet me on Twitter, I see that right away. So thank you for listening, and if you want to donate money to the campaign, that is greatly appreciated. And if you're one of those people out there who has a spine, which I'm assuming you do because you listen to these and you keep track of what I'm up to, it really helps also to spread the word of these issues and get more people talking about our drone program and warrantless spying of American citizens. That $2 billion data center out in Bluffdale, Utah, that's going to be recording and storing all of our electronic communications. We need more Americans to talk about this stuff because when you turn on MSNBC or Fox, they are very clearly not discussing these issues. They're not discussing the NDAA, even though that is, 100% fact. That is not a theory. It's not, speculation. There are many big names against the NDAA at this point, and all you have to do is Google it, Just because it's not on Fox at night doesn't mean that it's not important news. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk soon.